the first major news broadcast of the day on a Monday. My name is Adewale Dosumu. First, the major items. President Tinubu nominates board members for NUPRC, NMDPRA, 6 Senate confirmation. Governor Abiodun condemns brutal killings in Niger State, commiserates with Governor Bako. Federal government unveils new strategies to curb examination malpractice. Guinea Supreme Court confirms Mamadi Dombai's presidential election victory.
And on business news, Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Oyedele, links early signs of recovery to ongoing macroeconomic reforms. I bring details of this and others on the business segment of the news. I am Olayemi Takuro. Stay with us.
Still on the news, Manchester United to appoint caretaker manager for the rest of the season. Join me on sports segment of the news for the details of these stories and others. I am Shigi Arao. Tongore.
The time is always right to do what is right. And you can watch us live on our website, www.ogtv.com.ng/live. For the latest news and reports, check us on these platforms: X at Ogtv, Facebook, Ogun State Television, YouTube at Ogtv Abeokuta, and TikTok at Ogun State Television. President Bola Tinubu has nominated former Rivers Southeast Senator Magnus Abe as chairman of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, following the resignation of Benga Komolafe. The nomination was announced in a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, who disclosed that the President has written the Senate seeking confirmation of 21 nominees for the boards of the NUPRC and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA. Abe, who represented Rivers Southeast Senatorial District for 2 terms, is a former board member of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited and currently chairs the National Agency for the Great Green Wall. Other nominees for the NUPRC board include Engineer Paul Yarujenze, a former Trade Union Congress chairman in Kaduna State, and Mr. Sunday Adebayo Babalola, a former deputy director at the defunct Department of Petroleum Resources. Both were nominated as non-executive commissioners. The President also nominated several executive commissioners for the NUPRC board, including Mohammed Sabu Lamido, Finance, Edu Iyang, Exploration and Acreage, Justin Iziala, Economic Regulation and Strategic Planning, Henry Darlington Oki, Development and Production, Inda Bawabas Hari Halka, Corporate Services and Administration, and Mahmoud Tijani, Health, Safety and Environment. Olayemi Adeboyejo was nominated as Secretary and Legal Advisor. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has ordered a manhunt for the terrorists responsible for a deadly attack on communities in Niger State that left more than 40 people dead and many others abducted. In a statement personally signed by him, the President said he had directed the Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, and the service chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, and the Director General of the Department of State Services to track down the perpetrators of the Kasubaraji attack and ensure that they are brought to justice. The President further ordered the immediate rescue of all abducted victims and directed that security operations around vulnerable communities, particularly those near forests, be intensified. The presidential directive followed coordinated attacks by suspected bandits on Saturday afternoon in Agwara and Gogu local government areas of Niger State. According to the Niger State Police Command, the attackers are believed to have emerged from the National Park forests along Kabe district before storming Kasuwaranji in Damo village via Kabe. In a related development, Ogun State Governor and Chairman of the Southern Governors Forum, Prince Dakwa Abiodun, has strongly condemned the gruesome killing of at least 42 innocent people and the abduction of several others by terrorists in Agwara and Bogu local government areas of Niger State, describing the attack as callous, senseless, and a crime against humanity. In a statement issued in Abeokuta, Governor Abiodun expressed heartfelt condolences to the Governor of Niger State, Muhammad Umaru Bago, as well as the government and people of the state over what he described as a tragic and deeply disturbing incident. The Ogun State Governor called on security agencies to swiftly track down, arrest, and prosecute the perpetrators to the fullest extent of the law, stressing that such acts of brutality must not go unpunished. He also sympathized with the families and communities affected by the attack, lamenting that innocent and law-abiding citizens could be brutally murdered while going about their lawful activities. Speaking on behalf of the government and people of Ogun State and his colleagues in the Southern Governors Forum, Abiodun said the incident should not weaken the resolve of the Niger State government to continue protecting lives and property. Governor Abiodun described the assault on innocent citizens as a stain on the nation's conscience, stressing that such barbaric acts must never be allowed to reoccur. He prayed for the repose of the souls of the victims and for divine strength for their families to bear the loss. Calling for decisive action, the governor urged security agencies to deploy all available resources to ensure that those responsible are brought to justice. The perpetrators must be completely crushed with all the resources available to the Nigerian state. He also prayed for the repose of the souls of the victims. Civil and public servants in Ogun State have fully resumed work after the Yuletide holidays, signaling the official commencement of government activities for the new year 2026. The head of service, Kehinde Onosoya, and the chief of staff to the governor, Dr. Tony Taiwo, described the workforce as central to the state's development agenda, urging renewed dedication as the administration rolls out key reforms. Matthew Shoumi reports.
It is the first working week of the new year. Civil and public servants across Ogun State return to their duty posts after the festive holidays. At the Okemoson Government Secretariat in Abeokuta, workers arrived early, fully conscious of the responsibilities ahead as the government unveils initiatives and programs aimed at repositioning the civil service for greater efficiency and productivity. The head of service of Ogun State, Kehinde Onosoya, resumes work early and describes the civil service as the engine room of government, stressing the need for dedication to the effective implementation of the administration's cardinal programs as outlined in the Ishaya mantra. Onosoya commends the state government for reforms already implemented to transform the civil service, hinting that the new year will place greater emphasis on continuous capacity building, training, and retraining of the workforce.
The public and civil service of Ogun State must continue to embrace the various reforms being put in place by this administration to reposition the state. Don't forget that Ogun State is the investment destination of choice, and the civil service as the engine room of government must continue to contribute towards the development of the state as encapsulated in the Ishaya mantra.
Also resuming for duty, the chief of staff to the Ogun State Governor, Dr. Tony Taiwo, who thanked workers for their contributions to the achievements recorded so far by the current administration, noted that more development milestones are expected in the year ahead.
We want to sincerely appreciate, first and foremost, the civil servants, the private our public sectors. We sincerely also want to appreciate our traditional rulers. We have this hope and this aspiration that the year 2026 is going to be better than the year 2025. We have been able to raise the bar in Ogun State. God helping us, not only that, we can say confidently with the help of the civil servant that we have been able to do much more exceedingly.
The year is described as a significant one for the state as Ogun prepares to celebrate 50 years of its creation. The day began with prayers and thanksgiving in some ministries, including a special session organized by a hospital management board under the leadership of its permanent secretary, while workers in other ministries are already fully engaged at their duty posts.
We say a big thank you to His Excellency first and foremost for all the support we have been given all through the year, and we believe that many more is still in the coffers for us this year. We appreciate the head of service, the Honorable Commissioner for Health, and every other person that has added to our success story in the past year.
Well, we are all happy. You can see what is happening around us today. The entire workforce of Ogun State very happy, and they are in a joyful mood that they are able to see this year 2026, and we want to redouble our effort to make sure that we are able to discharge our responsibility accordingly.
With optimism and renewed commitments, civil and public servants look forward to a productive year filled with impactful achievements. Matthew Shomi, Ogtv News.
The federal government has unveiled new strategies aimed at curbing examination malpractices in the West African Examinations Council and the National Examinations Council beginning from 2026 as part of broader efforts to restore credibility and public trust in Nigeria's education assessment system. The measures were announced by the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Alausa, alongside the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmed in Abuja. According to the ministers, the reforms are designed to strengthen transparency and tighten oversight across all the stages of national examinations. The announcement was signed by the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Education, Bori Ofolashade. According to the statement, the ministry was determined to address long-standing challenges associated with teaching and irregularities in public examinations. The statement explained that the ministry would deploy technology-driven solutions and stricter administrative controls to safeguard the integrity of WAEC and NECO. One of the major steps outlined is the introduction of enhanced question randomization and serialization. Still talking about education matters, public and private primary and secondary schools, as well as technical colleges across Ogun State, resume for the second term of the 2025-2026 academic session in line with the approved calendar of the Ogun State. The resumption marks the end of the Christmas and New Year holidays and a return to academic activities for thousands of learners across the state. Binga Adekoya, who went round the Abeokuta metropolis, reported that the early morning rush took on a familiar meaning as schools reopen.
The early morning rush returns as primary and secondary schools across Ogun State resume for the second term of the 2025-2026 academic session after the Christmas and New Year break. From Kemta to Idiaba, light traffic gridlock sets in as early as 7 in the morning, with parents struggling to drop off their wards at various schools. Being the start of a new term, many students are seen arriving with lockers and learning materials, ready for academic work. Some students expressed excitement about returning to school after the holidays, Enoch Oluleye, head boy of Abeokuta Grammar School Junior Idiaba, and Victoria Olajede, head girl of Lafenwa High School Junior, say they are happy to reunite with classmates and teachers.
I feel happy that we are resuming and that nobody is missing among us in the school.
I'm readily prepared for the new section and now I'm preparing for my WAEC. But today we are to clean the environment. We make sure we make sure that we coordinate everything in the school, everything where is neat.
School administrators also speak on preparations for the term. Principals of public schools and proprietors of private schools say academic activities resume in earnest, beginning with welcome tests to assess students' readiness.
We are fully prepared. As you can see the students, you can see the environment very clean, and everything has been put in place by the government. So we are right away working now.
We are happy that our students are back, and those who are writing tests, they did not go for holiday. They are SS3 students preparing for external examination like WASE, West African Senior School Certificate Examination.
I'm so glad to see today the second term 2025-2026 academic session. As you can see, the school has already resumed, so there's no time for listeners in Ogun State. According to our slogan, Isheya, so the work has already started. When you get there to their class now, the welcome test will start.
Being the first day, we see a lot of them coming to the school, and just as usual in the grammar school, work starts today. That's what we do here in Abeokuta Grammar School. We just have a few minutes to clean the compounds, and from there, they go back to their classes to start work for the second term.
Schools visited included Baptist Primary School Idiaba, Government Science and Technology College Iyano Mortuary, Lafenwa High School Lafenwa, and Abeokuta Grammar School, among others.
Also, education activities returned fully across public schools in Ogun State as the Universal Basic Education Board intensifies efforts to ensure a hitch-free start to the second term of the 2025-2026 academic session. As part of this effort, the Ogun State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, embarked on a New Year monitoring exercise across public primary and junior secondary schools in Obafemi Wode local government areas of the state. The monitoring team, led by the chairman of SUBEB, Evangelist Olaliko Ifede, visited several schools to assess teachers' punctuality, pupils' turnout, classroom activities, and the general state of facilities after the holiday. Olaide Oloye completes the report.
As part of activities marking the New Year resumption, the Ogun State Universal Basic Education Board conducted a monitoring exercise across public primary and junior secondary schools in Obafemi Owode local government area. The exercise aimed at ensuring a smooth academic takeoff and strict compliance with the state government education policies. Leading the team, the chairman of SUBEB, Evangelist Olaleko Ifede, interacts with school heads and teachers, stressing the need for renewed commitment, discipline, and professionalism in the new year. He emphasizes that early resumption and effective teaching remains key to sustaining quality learning outcomes across public schools.
To God be all the glory. All our schools are open today. Teachers are in their respective schools. We have been able to let them know that for us in SUBEB, we are after learning outcomes of our learners. We want our learners to be able to read and write and communicate very well. So our vision, as far as SUBEB Ogun State is concerned, is literacy, numeracy, and communication. And I believe our teachers are able.
Some teachers describe the visit by SUBEB officials as motivating, noting that it encourages them to recommit to their duties. They assured the board of their readiness to deliver quality teaching and to support government efforts aimed at improving basic education in the state.
I thought of some things in which we are going to do some correction about it. So we appreciate his comment.
We are going to improve by the special grace of God. My teachers are trying and they will still buckle up more.
After the on-the-spot assessment in the schools, the Subeb team proceeded to the board's headquarters, where officials addressed candidates of the Ogun Teach program. The candidates are charged to see the new year as an opportunity to rededicate themselves to service and to contribute meaningfully to the development of basic education in Ogun State.
Ever before now, we have serious vacancies in our schools. Though the fact remains that this number cannot fill all the vacancies we have, but at least it goes a long way. We just have to appreciate His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ogun State.
They were also reminded of the expectations of the program, including strict adherence to posting directives, respect for school authorities, and compliance with their rules guiding their engagement. The local government visited are Obafemi Wode, Ikpokia, Odeda, Abeokuta South, Remo North, Ogun Waterside, and Imekwafo. Olaide Oloye, Ogtv News.
Still ahead on the news, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde reshuffles cabinet, removes SSG, announces new appointments. We get to know details of these and more after the break. Nice to have you back, and in case you're just joining us, you're watching the major news broadcast for today on Ogtv. The Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, has announced a cabinet reshuffle. According to a statement by his special advisor media, Sulaiman Olanrewaju, Governor Makinde has relieved the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Olanike Kudirat Adeyemo, of her appointment with immediate effect. Professor Musibao Adetunji Babatunde has been appointed as the new Secretary to the State Government. The statement further said that Temilolu Shehu Ashamu has been moved from the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources to the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. Also, Governor Makinde has announced his Senior Special Assistant on Public Works, Ademola Aderito, as a Commissioner Designate. He will consequently be presented to the Oyo State House of Assembly for screening. The statement also announced the appointment of Honorable Abiodun Adedoja as Special Advisor on Energy Security and Kolaoli Elijah Akomo as Senior Special Assistant on Budget and Economic Planning. The Ogun State Government has unveiled an ambitious housing and urban development roadmap for 2026 with a clear focus on large-scale residential delivery, legacy infrastructure, and sustained urban renewal across the state. The plan, anchored on affordability, sustainability, and inclusive growth, builds on the gains recorded in the housing sector in the outgone year as the state positions itself to meet growing housing demand and strengthen its urban landscape. Speaking at a press conference to mark the first working week of the new year, the sector head of housing, Jagumolu Jamiu Akodiomoni, said the 2026 roadmap builds on strong performance recorded in 2025. Bumi Adigun reports.
The Ogun State government is formally rolling out its housing and urban development plan for the 2026 fiscal year, with emphasis on affordable housing delivery, legacy infrastructure, and sustainable urban renewal across key urban centers in the state.
It is interesting to know that we closed the year 2025 on a strong and reassuring note, with the successful delivery of an additional 30 units of duplexes at the Barajia Cluster 1 extension, and another 100 duplexes at President Muhammadu Buhari Estate. We all know the history of PNB when we took over that project at the beginning and commencement of this administration in 2019. It was more of a bushy and moribund estate with a lot of inherited litigations. But today, the government of President Abiodun has turned into a world-class estate, yet to be unveiled but structurally finished and ready for habitation.
Under the administration of Governor Dapo Abiodun, the housing sector continues to undergo a significant transformation, shifting from the provision of basic shelter to the delivery of dignified, functional, and sustainable living spaces. Through strategic partnerships and disciplined execution, the Ministry of Housing, working with the Ogun State Housing Corporation, drives developments that meet international standards while promoting job creation, wealth generation, and economic growth.
Key legacy projects slated for execution in 2026 include the construction of an international conference center at our world-acclaimed Gateway International Airport at Ikperu, a modern 2,500-seater capacity banquet hall, the appeal court headquarters in Ogun State with its residences, the Ibarra GRA comprising 50 duplexes, as well as commissioners' quarters, appointees' quarters, and assembly quarters. These projects were conceived to align with the development blueprint of the state, ensuring that growth in governance, justice delivery, hospitality, and residential infrastructure progresses in a coordinated, sustainable, and people-centered manner.
As Ogun State steps confidently into 2026, the government said it is set to scale up housing delivery through new estates, urban regeneration schemes, and key legacy projects across major cities,
including but not limited to Prince Court Estates at Shiun, that's along Abeokuta-Shagamu Expressway. The idea here is to also revolutionize and also bring Shiun on board and put it on the global map, just like we have done to Kobakwe. The Ishaya Court at Okemoson, at the entrance of Obasanjo Hilltop, the Avila Court within the Ibarra headquarters of Ogun State Housing Corporation, and the Evans Court at Igweba Ijebode, alongside the continuing generation of Ibarra GRA Phase 2.
With plans to deliver thousands of additional housing units and deepen urban renewal efforts, the administration remains focused on building inclusive, livable communities, positioning the Gateway State as a benchmark for housing and urban development in Nigeria and beyond. Buni Adigun, Ogtv News.
Still on housing matters, the Ogun State Ministry of Housing and Urban Development welcomes the new year 2026 with renewed commitment to housing delivery and urban renewal in line with the vision of Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun. This call came as the management and staff of the ministry gather for a New Year prayer and Thanksgiving service to appreciate God for life and to seek divine guidance for the year ahead. The Commissioner for Housing and Urban Development, Jagomolu Jamiu Akonde Omoni, urged staff to brace up for another productive year as more housing and infrastructural projects are set for execution across the state. Again, Bumi Adigun reports.
It was a solemn yet colorful start to the new year as the Ogun State Ministry of Housing and Urban Development marks Monday, the 5th of January 2026 with prayers and Thanksgiving. Christian and Muslim clerics took turn to offer prayers and sermons, charging members of staff to remain diligent, disciplined, and transparent in the discharge of their duties.
Let us renew our intention, our hope. Let us be very, very elevated, enduring, frontiering. Let us be our brother's keeper.
The Commissioner for Housing and Urban Development, Jagomolu Jamiu Akonde gives thanks to God for the grace to record notable achievements during his tenure. He commends the management and staff of the ministry for their dedication and teamwork, noting that their commitment plays a major role in achieving the ministry's mandate.
We have a 2,500 seater capacity international banquet hall, very close to one thing. The friends of this we start clearing the land and we move the site. The ESCO has also approved the Appeal Court headquarters in Ogun State. I'm not come back there. It sits right beside the judiciary complex. Wow! And this team will also be in charge of that project.
Setting the agenda for 2026, the Commissioner calls on staff to buckle up as the Ministry plans to intensify housing development and urban renewal efforts.
The transformation continues. So I count on everyone to be supportive. Support your peers. Yes, the results of more work is hard work, is more work.
Key projects lined up include the remodeling of the legislative quarters and the takeover of the abandoned building beside the Ogun State House of Assembly, among others. Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
As the curtain rises on the year 2026, clerics have urged Nigerians to draw closer to God by putting smiles on the faces of others and living lives of compassion and service. This call formed the high point of the New Year prayer organized by the management and staff of Ogun State Television to usher in the new broadcasting year. General Manager of Ogtv, Tunde Kazim, expressed appreciation to God, the management and staff of the station for their dedication and resilience, which made the year 2025 a worthwhile and productive one.
It's the dawn of a new year 2026, a season of renewed hope, fresh commitment, and higher expectations. In an atmosphere of unity and gratitude, members of staff of Ogun State Television gather as tradition demands to return all glory to God for the priceless gift of life and the journey so far. Beyond religious differences, the prayer session reflects a collective outpouring of heartfelt thanksgiving, seeking divine guidance and strength for the year ahead. Clerics at the gathering admonish staff to make God the center of their life, stressing that genuine success, peace, and fulfillment are anchored on faith and upright living.
That when you bring happiness to the faces of people, God is happy with you. When you do things that makes people to be happy, however it comes, God will be happy with you. Factor God into every portion of your life this year. The buck stops on his table. The Bible says, except the Lord build the house, they that build, they don't build.
The general manager of Ogtv, Tunde Kazim, thanks God, the government of Ogun State, and the entire workforce for the milestones recorded in 2025, while calling for renewed commitment and teamwork to achieve greater feats in 2026.
Very, very cooperative as members of staff, as management. About 2 million. I really appreciate you for your cooperation so far. Also, thank all our clients, all the agencies that have been working with, and to thank them for what they're able to do so far in the last 1 year. I would like to admonish us, every member of staff, to remain committed and dedicated to work.
The session concluded with effectual and fervent prayers for the television station, Ogun State, and the nation at large, as the workforce stepped into the new year with hope, unity, and determination. Tunde Olaniro, Ogtv News.
In the same vein, information and public relations managers in Ogun State government establishment have been told to be vast in their coverages and be broader in the dissemination of programs, activities, and projects of the state government. The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Information and Strategy, Abdul Wahid Additional, gave this charge at an interdenominational service to kickstart the year 2026 held at the Ministry. Okemoso Abeokuta. Fura Adesowo reports.
Charity, they say, begins at home. Pastor Benga Wolabi and Alfa Ibrahim Akimbodi, one after the other, charged the congregants on trust and planning towards attaining collective goals.
Trust in the Lord, absolute confidence in God. See, we cannot deceive ourselves. Look at your life in the past years. How many things you have pushed by yourself that you have achieved the way you want it?
That is trust. Because whether we like it or not, it is something we are going to account for. How do we spend our time? This is the new year, 2026. We must justify how we spend our time.
The Permanent Secretary, Alhaji Wahid Additional, reminds the information and public relations managers to synergize and ensure the best of them is showcased from 2026, a sensitive period of political transition.
When we are up and doing and we are alive to our responsibilities, then we should be able to go out there, tell the people what the government is doing, and bring back to government what the people want. So I want to charge my officers that in this year 2026 and beyond, we should continue to do this without fail.
The chairman of Ogun State Council of Nigerian Union of Journalists, Comrade Wale Olarewaju, and a director in the ministry also charged information and public relations managers to uphold the tenets of their callings.
We are purveyors of truth. We are expected to say the truth at all times. Whatever we want to write, we must write conscientiously. We must write not to allow self-opinionated, sentiments to take over our writings.
As we are going into the pre-electionary year, my charge to information officers is to live up to expectation as information and public relation officers. They have a lot on their plate this year, and I want them to cooperate with the leadership of the Ministry of Information and Strategy in particular, and with the state governments in general, in order for them to be able to deliver as expected.
You will not lose it. You have your house, it will not collapse. Allah keep upholding us, become a better person in life.
Among mostly Christians and Muslims in the Ministry of Information and Strategy of the state coming together as one before Almighty Creator as they approach year 2026 with trust, unity of purpose, resilience and commitment towards attaining lofty heights. Adefowura Adesonwo, Ogtv News.
The Lishari Elite Club, a socio-cultural organization of eminent sons and daughters of Igbaland, has inaugurated new executive with Honorable Farouk Akintunde emerging as president for the year 2026. The ceremony, which marked a formal transition of leadership, drew members and stakeholders together to reaffirm the club's commitment to unity, cultural preservation, and community development. Adedamola Adeniji's report is presented in this package.
The Lishabi Elite Club is a social-cultural association founded by prominent indigents of Igbaland to promote unity, cultural heritage, and grassroots development. The inauguration ceremony of Honorable Farouk Akintunde as president. In his address, the outgoing president reflected on achievements recorded during his tenure. He expresses appreciation to the club's patrons, royal fathers, and members, while commending Honorable Farouk Akintunde as he assumes the mantle of leadership.
I'm the outgoing, the middle past president. He was my VP, and while we were together in the last regime, he was dedicated. He has agreed that he's going to follow the plans that we have laid in the last regime to ensure that we move this club to greater heights.
Moments later, Honorable Farouk Akitunde and other newly elected executives were formally sworn in, signaling a smooth and orderly transition.
Do solemnly affirm and uphold that I will support and defend the Constitution and regulations of this honorable club.
In his acceptance speech, the new president thanked God and appreciated members for the confidence reposed in him. Honorable Akitunde pledges to uphold the club's ideals, build on the legacy of past leaders, and work collectively to advance the growth and relevance of the association.
We want to thank the Almighty Allah for making this one possible. It is not by my own making, and I want to thank the entire club members for finding me worthy for this highly exalted position. The Shabieli Club is one of the foremost clubs in Abeokuta, Nigeria. Prior to the creation of Ogun State, this is a club that is made up of academicians. The people that form these clubs are purely academicians, they are teachers.
Members of the Lishabi Elite Club expressed optimism that the new leadership will strengthen the club's vision and drive meaningful development in the coming year.
You know, we are a family. We are all family here. We just exchange the leadership power. We just advise the regime to even put more the effort to try to finish unfinished projects that is on ground before it can even start their own fresh.
With renewed hope and high expectations, the inauguration marks a fresh chapter for Lishabi Ellis Club as Honorable Farouk Akitunde officially takes charge.
Members, friends and well-wishers gather in solemn remembrance to mark the first Fidal prayer of Princess Khadijat Adibisi Donseri, formerly known as Kashmir Dam. The prayer session held in Abeokuta, Ogun State capital in honor of the late philanthropist and business icon who passed on a year ago. The gathering provided an opportunity for prayers for her eternal rest and reflections on a life of generosity and service to humanity. Tony Ogundi Press reporters presented in this package.
The event attracted top government officials, political leaders, Islamic clerics, associates, as well as family members from within and outside the country. Delivering the sermon, Islamic scholars emphasizes the virtue of humility, generosity, and service to humanity, qualities they describe as defining attributes of the late Princess Khadijat Adibisi Edionsiri. Dignitaries at the Fidal pay glowing tributes, describing Kash Madam as a woman of influence whose impact cut across business, politics, and community development.
Showing love and affection to all and sundry without discrimination. She was also a consistent person, quite forthright, and she always feel happy at the glory or the happiness of others.
I really thank God for our life living. May God Almighty Allah bless her, give her a legion of Firdausi.
Members of the Edionsiri family, including her children, expressed gratitude to God and appreciation to the guests for their support, while pledging to uphold their values and legacy of their matriarch.
Because she's one of the most wonderful moms. I miss her calling me. I miss her sending me food. I miss her calling me to remind me of my siblings' birthdays. I miss her very much, but we're thankful to God that it's our time to live the good life, and we'll continue to follow in the footsteps she taught us.
Even though fairly advanced in age, but she was still full of life when she passed. We still think and miss her every day. She has left a very big shoe
for any of us to fit in.
The memorial prayer served not only as a moment of remembrance, but also a celebration of life devoted to generosity, leadership, and compassion.
We move to the business studios where Olayemi Takuro is standing by for some business reports.